Hello and welcome to the second ever nice episode of Ask M&R Productions with episode 169. If you're new to the series, I answer questions about LEGO, Star Wars, myself, and pretty much anything on the series. So if you have a question you want answered, leave in the comment section down below. I pick questions from the most recent episodes, so if you want your question answered, that's the place to be. If you guys enjoy this video, make sure you hit the like button because YouTube is apparently going to be hiding the dislike button from viewers here soon, so you may as well be hitting the like button now, get used to it. Also, today is Tuesday, April 6th, and tonight on my YouTube channel, I'm going to be live stream building the 3 new April 2021 LEGO Star Wars sets. If you're interested in that, make sure you keep your notifications on and check back on my channel this evening. I'm going to be doing a live stream building all 3 sets, chatting with everyone in the chat, and hopefully having a grand old time building some new LEGO Star Wars sets. And how did I get these sets? You're probably wondering, oh my god, they're early, how'd you do it? Well, a fan of mine named Mythic Bricks reached out to me and had found some new stuff early, and he's like, hey, do you want it? And I'm like, of course I want it. So huge shout out to Mythic Bricks for hooking me up with these new sets early this time around. I'll link him down below if you want to check out his channel. He's actually got a full review on the Looney Tunes figures early right now. We'll talk about those a little bit later in the episode here too. So first question from Gold7K says, what are your thoughts on YouTube getting rid of the dislike number soon? So you may have heard me allude to this in the beginning. They're not necessarily getting rid of the whole button, but they are supposedly going to hide the number of dislikes a given video has, which I vehemently disagree with and think is very, very bad. And I think that the response on Twitter was representative of what most people feel about that, but they say that they had gotten some complaints, and this is again probably the vocal minority of people who are like, oh my god, I got too many dislikes on my video, now it's affecting me mentally. And so they are apparently going to, they're testing it now. It's not set in stone that they're going to do this, but they are potentially going to be getting rid of the number that you can see. Now, what I find incredibly ironic about this is that they claim to be doing this to like protect creators and stop people from doing, you know, dislike bombs, basically, like targeted attacks in that way, an attack on your channel with dislikes. Like, I don't know who's getting hurt by that. Plus, I think YouTube's pretty good now at, if there's like fake dislikes, they'll actually remove them. I've noticed that with some live streams that I've been a part of in the past. This will happen on like smaller channels mostly, where like a live stream will have like 20 likes and 100 dislikes, and it's clear that one person went out of their way to dislike the video so many times, but the next day, the video won't have 100 dislikes because YouTube recognizes this and gets rid of all the fake dislikes. But what's ironic about it is that you can already hide the dislike number if it's affecting you so poorly. Like, there's already a feature where you can hide the like and dislike number from your audience. You will still be able to see the numbers, as is the case if YouTube does what they do here. I'll still be able to see how many people disliked this video, but you wouldn't. And I don't think that's very fair. Like, there are really good, valid reasons to have a dislike button in a lot of cases too. Like, if you go to a, I don't know, 10 or 15 minute tutorial video and you see that the like-dislike ratio is 100 likes and 1,000 dislikes, well, you know that tutorial probably isn't going to help you, and so you go find another one, versus wasting 10 or 15 minutes of your time only to find out, hey, this wouldn't help me, when you could have known up front otherwise. So I think this is a bad change if it goes through, but we'll see what happens. I don't think it's going to happen though. Robo Tiger says, what do you think of the Looney Tunes CMF? Dude, I am mostly in love with the Looney Tunes CMF. I have a couple criticisms or just things I would have had differently if I was in charge, I guess. So we once again have 12 characters, and one of the good things that we've actually found out is that these will not be in boxes. They will be in bags, unlike LEGO Video, where it's basically gambling for kids and there's no way you could possibly figure out what figures inside. Here we are back again with the plastic bags, which is a very good thing overall. Now, this series looks to be a really strong series for LEGO here with Looney Tunes, and I think I've seen the reaction. Most people are very excited about this lineup, as am I. Starting out with Lola Bunny, who has obviously had a bit of controversy lately regarding her big bank and whatnot, but she's going to be in the new Space Jam, and obviously, like, this is a great character to have. It makes a ton of sense. We have Bugs Bunny, which is an absolute classic. You have to have Bugs Bunny. He's got the carrot accessory. You have Wile E. Coyote, great with the anvil. The Roadrunner, Meep Meep, not really sure what his accessory is. I don't remember that from watching Looney Tunes as a kid. We have Tweety Bird, who I think would have probably been better as like a little accessory character to someone else, because it's supposed to be a little bird, like tiny, and it's a full-size minifigure. It's not minifigure scale. So for those people that complain about minifig scale, keep that same energy here. I think it could have been better as a little accessory character, basically. Sylvester the cat with the baseball bat. Now, here's where my issue with this series kind of begins. We have Daffy Duck, who has a sign that says Rabbit Season. And I very specifically remember, and in my mind, it's a pretty iconic thing from Looney Tunes.
Rabbit season! Duck season! Rabbit season! Duck season! Rabbit season!
And I wish they would have given a duck season sign to Bugs Bunny. It would have gone very well hand in hand. Also, there's no Elmer Fudd. So that's a bit of a shame. Now I know that it's very taboo now to talk about guns, but come on, it's a cartoon character. It's for fun, and maybe it's one of those casualties of only a 12-character series versus a 16-character series without Elmer Fudd. I also kind of would have liked Yosemite Sam. I think he was pretty great in Looney Tunes Back in Action. He's a really funny guy to me. But yeah, those are two things I would have liked to see, is those two characters in particular, plus a sign that says Duck Season for Bugs Bunny. Now we have Speedy Gonzales, who's not a character I'm I don't have a lot of memory of him, if any at all. Tasmanian Devil, of course, a classic, and he's got kind of his tornado as a base plate for him. And then we have Marvin the Martian, solid character selection. We have Porky Pig, and then finally, the character that makes the least sense to me is Petunia Pig. I have no idea who Petunia Pig is. But all that aside, I think it's overall a great series. I think there's the one dud in there with Petunia Pig, but everything else I think is going to connect for a lot of people, and I cannot wait to get this series. It's a really exciting one. Josh says, what if Phase 2 Cody was released as a promotional item when you pre-order LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga? Josh, you're gonna get your 87th Luke Skywalker, and you're gonna like it. We have a question here from M&R Productions. Thanks for the question. He says, what do you think of the Harry Potter golden minifigures? This is probably the best question that's been asked all week, actually. I think that they're bad. I mean, I think that, it's fine. Like, it's something to celebrate 20 years. It's a free bonus, although I think that's a little bit disingenuous when you look at LEGO Star Wars and you can see that they upped the price of a battle pack by $5 to include what you would interpret to be a free bonus. If you like it, great. If not, whatever for this particular case. Like, I don't think they're that great. I think that gold color for LEGO is generally pretty tacky, especially when you compare like a gold C-3PO's gold. Like, it's just not the same. I get the idea, I see the concept, it just doesn't work for me, especially when you look at the LEGO Star Wars ones, which are really cool, kind of paying homage to the original minifigures. These ones just kind of throw that out the window and go with modern things, and I'm not really sure why this decision was made. I know Ninjago did the same thing, but with Harry Potter being 20 years old and having original yellow minifigures still, they could have easily done that, and they didn't. I guess that's just the way they decided to go with it. I'm just not excited about it. LE Studios is a big one. It says, thoughts on the Skywalker Saga being delayed again? Honestly, I want to say I can't believe it, but I should believe it, but I can't, right? Like, they delayed the game, what, once or twice at least? I want to say twice, but I can't remember. And I was like, okay, so they delayed it. They put the spring 2021 release date on it. They got to know they can do this if they're delaying it again and putting a date on it, right? And so I was like, okay, it's going to come out in spring of next year. Then nothing had happened, and nothing had happened. They said nothing. They showed nothing. And then they just come out of nowhere on Twitter on April 2nd. They're like, our game's delayed. Look at the contrast for LEGO Star Wars. April 2nd last year, Final First Battle Pack gets revealed. April 2nd this year, LEGO Star Wars is delayed again, and it's like an undetermined amount of time now, which is probably for the best. It's probably good that they're not putting a timetable on it, because last time when they put a timetable on it, it came around a spring this time, and they still didn't have it done or whatever, and now they're down bad. So it's not a good look. It's probably the worst game to have pre-ordered, because I'm honestly, I think I need to cancel my pre-order, because I pre-ordered it for the PS5, and I play my games on PC anyway, so like, I'm going to cancel my pre-order. Looks like I'm going to be canceling a few Amazon pre-orders. I'm going to cancel the helmets and the probe droid, and I'm also going to cancel the game there. So goodbye pre-orders. So with the game being delayed again, I think this is really bad. I think it's a really bad look. I know obviously there are reasons that this sort of thing can happen, and the overarching reason and that people are going to give out is COVID, right? Like, coronavirus probably had an effect on the development of this game. However, with this delay, I am now, as a consumer, expecting more. Like that's just how it is, right? Like, I'm gonna spend $70 or whatever it is on this game, and you've made me wait after having pre-ordered it like a year ago, now way longer than anyone thought they were going to. You've got all this marketing out there for the game that's literally on the physical packaging of sets since summer of last year, and the game just isn't coming out. It was supposed to come out in October of last year, now that I think about it, and that just hasn't happened. So I'm kind of expecting a lot out of this game. I mean, this game better be really good to have been delayed twice. And I don't follow a lot of video games. I know you may think I do, but I just don't. Like, I follow Call of Duty, and that's about it. Like, that's what I care to play, so that's what I play. And so I don't, I know that Cyberpunk had some development issues, and they delayed it, and they're like, oh, we're gonna delay it so we don't release a bad game. And then they released it, and it was still a god-awful game. It was so bad that Sony had to, like, refund people from the PlayStation. It was a really just disastrous experience. And I don't think LEGO Star Wars is going to go that way. I have a little bit more faith faith in TT Games and what they're doing with Lego Star Wars than whatever the heck happened with Cyberpunk. I wouldn't expect something like that. It's also not a game that's going to be so graphically intense that your PlayStation literally can't run it sometimes, I think. So we should be all clear on that end. But I'm just disappointed that it's taking so long, I guess. I mean, it's just a game that I think most people are very excited for, and rightfully so are disappointed when they continue to delay the game. SW Brick says, what are your thoughts on the Bad Batch trailer? You know, as the trailer goes, it's exciting. There's new stuff, great stuff. You know, every Star Wars trailer, exciting stuff, new stuff, whatever. I think that's just kind of there. Now, you know, I'm going to watch it. I'm very excited to watch it. It's basically like a continuation of the Clone Wars to me, except I would expect it to get darker. It seems, you know, all the characters are wearing darker clothes. Like, it just feels like the whole atmosphere is a bit darker than the Clone Wars, so I'm very excited about that aspect of this upcoming, essentially, season of the Clone Wars with the Bad Batch Season 1 here. Also, the 70-minute opening episode is like, dude, that's gonna be awesome. I can't wait to watch a 70-minute Bad Batch episode. But as far as it pertains to Lego, I think this is exciting because there's a lot of stuff going on here. I mean, there's ATTs in there, there's Captain Rex, which a lot of people came and asked me, hey, do you think that, I mean, obviously I think at any point they can make a Captain Rex. I don't think because he showed up in the Bad Batch, they can now make something that they haven't made for 8 years. They could have made him at any point, just to be clear. Like, just because Captain Rex is now in the Bad Batch, he's probably more likely to be made, but it doesn't mean Lego couldn't have made him before. So we'll probably get a Captain Rex out of this. That would be my best guess, is that, you know, Lego's got to see that this figure's worth over $100. Like, you know, they're not blind to that. At least I would like to think so. And so maybe we will finally get a new version of Phase 2 Captain Rex from the Bad Batch show in some sort of Bad Batch set. Definitely not in 2021. It would either happen in early 2022 or summer 2022. It's just not going to happen this year. It's not on the slate as far as I'm aware. The only Bad Batch set is going to be the Bad Batch shuttle for this year. There will probably be more sets in the future, though. I would hope maybe we see something like the V-Wing that we saw in the trailer. I think a lot of this will also depend on how much screen time a lot of this stuff has in the show. You know, like the ATT is there in the trailer. A lot of people want Lego to make an ATT. To me, it looks a little bit more like an imperialized version of an ATT, which I think could be an interesting aspect for Lego to come at it from, and not have like all of the red markings on it. But if it's only there for 3 seconds, I don't think Lego is going to make it. So I'm really excited for the show. The trailer looked great. Obviously, seeing new footage is always exciting. I just don't really have much deeper thoughts on top of that. Oh, other than like, why, like, dude, I feel like I was like this excited for the show, and now I'm like this excited for the show, because I feel like they always try to shoehorn in this weird character for like children to relate to, which makes sense because Star Wars does that sort of thing because it's Star Wars, but obviously there are a lot of people my age and older that watch Star Wars too, and so, you know, all of a sudden there's just like this little girl, and all I can think to myself is, why is there a little girl running around with the Bad Batch, like life and limb on the line? Like, it just didn't make a lot of sense to me. And obviously I don't know the backstory of this character and why she's there, but there's a little girl there and it's weird to me, so there's that. Mr. Lobo says, when will we get a new Luke's Landspeeder? I feel like it's been so long. And you're right, it has been a long time since we've had a Luke's Landspeeder. In fact, the last time we had a Luke's Landspeeder was all the way back in 2020. It's been a long time. However, you don't have to wait much longer. We're actually going to have a micro-scale Luke's Landspeeder in the upcoming May the 4th promo, the Tatooine Homestead. So fear not, Luke's Landspeeder is returning to LEGO Star Wars sooner rather than later. Carson has brought something to my attention, which I think is really important because, you know, the world is all about inclusivity nowadays, and I feel like this just isn't very inclusive of everyone. You know, some people just don't like toppings on their pizza. He says, I know you're a big fan of cheese pizza, and he says every Lego piece or print of pizza has toppings on it, pepperoni/mushroom, and none are plain cheese. How do I feel about this? Like I said, I mean, talk about not being inclusive if you're Lego here. You've got to get some cheese pizza out there. It's just not fair to people like me who don't want toppings on their pizza. It just seems a little ridiculous that a company like Lego wouldn't go out of their way to make cheese pizza. Even the menu only shows pepperoni pizza. Even the pizza character only shows pepperoni pizza. Like, it's just pizza with toppings everywhere. I want plain cheese pizza. That's all I've ever wanted in my life. And we can't have that, can we? Even the Duplo pizza has toppings on it. Oh no.
Where did cheese go? I don't know.
Blither Party 474 says, when do you think we will get a remake of the TIE Bomber? So, Lego put the TIE Bomber in the UCS vote, and the TIE Bomber lost by a landslide. Well, so did the Nebulon B Frigate, but I assume the TIE Bomber got even less votes than that, so not a lot. Now, Lego was asked in an interview if they were going to make a play scale TIE Bomber, because people want to play scale TIE Bomber because it's a TIE Bomber and it's cool, and they haven't made one since 2003. The TIE Interceptor is also due for a remake, but that's a completely different thing. In this interview, they basically said they don't plan to make one anytime soon because it would have to be too big and too expensive. I think that's kind of a stupid thing because they make a lot of things big and expensive that probably shouldn't be, or that aren't iconic enough to be. Like, it's just a really poor argument on its face, in my opinion. So what are the odds we get one soon? As far as I'm concerned, very low. Now, this doesn't mean we're not going to. There was a LEGO Star Wars catalog. They do these like every month, everywhere but America or whatever, or North America. And in this catalog, there was a really good looking TIE Bomber. And this is a TIE Bomber that looks pretty much like what LEGO would make it if it were set. Now, to be fair, I don't own a lot of these catalogs, if any, so I certainly cannot speak to whether or not this type of thing is commonplace. If there are ships in here that are just designs that obviously aren't going to be sets, but they have to make them look like LEGO sets to fit within the catalog. Like, that would make a ton of sense. I know they do it for the LEGO Star Wars video games, so it would make sense for them to do it here as well. But this does look like it could be a set. That's all that I can say. Like, I don't know if it's going to be or not, but it looks like it could be. And I'm sure they have tons of things sitting around that look like they could be sets or were prototypes for sets that would look something like this. Like, this is probably very likely could be what they prototyped out as a TIE Bomber back, 5 years ago or whatever, because this would be in that vein. And they were like, yeah, this is too big, too expensive, doesn't provide enough value to our consumer, whatever. And they just decided not to sell it for whatever reason. I don't know whether or not this is going to be a 2022 or maybe even beyond TIE Bomber, but it certainly looks like it could. And so I really have nothing outside of that to say. It could be $80, $90, $100 at that point in something like this size, especially given that TIE fighters themselves tend to be relatively overpriced. TIE fighters and anything in that family, really. It is in my video. I did a video back at the very beginning of 2020 of 15 LEGO Star Wars sets we must see in the decade. This was at the beginning of the decade, obviously. I thought it was an exciting thing to do, something cool, something different, and so I made this video talking about things we should see in the decade, and so far, a few of these things have come true. The UCS AT-AT is coming out, the UCS A-Wing came out, the Final First Battle Pack happened, we're probably going to get a Master Builder Series Endor next year, and the TIE Bomber is in this video. I just think it's going to happen within the decade. I know it's a really long time period, but if I would have told you last decade it was going to happen last decade, it didn't, so what do you know? But I think that it's going to happen within this decade because of the way that the demand for this thing is going. Ollie Wheeler Covers says, what do you think the next helmet series will be, and what would you like them to be? So what I would like is, Clone Troopers and The Mandalorian, and, there's lots of stuff like that, but I think it's more important to talk about what they most likely will be, and that's hard to know, but I do have an inclination based on LEGO's marketing. So LEGO's marketing for this next lineup of helmets, so the next two, they've combined them with the last three, so they have the 5 of them together, and it's like build the empire or something. It feels like it's a final kind of like, hey, these are our 5 Imperial helmets for the time being, and to me it screams, and this is LEGO marketing. I don't know how much they know about stuff that's going to happen a year from now. I don't know anything about what's going to happen a year from now. Not that that means much, I guess. I'm not supposed to know anything about what's going to happen a year from now. But that being said, this to me just says, hey, these are our Imperial helmets, and in the future, we're probably going to do something else. And that could mean Clone Trooper, that could mean the Bad Batch, that could mean First Order with Kylo Ren and a First Order Stormtrooper, and there's just different avenues they could take. Now, it is worth noting that it is the helmet series. It's not the head series, so it's unlikely, in my opinion, that we'd see something that a lot of people would consider iconic and, ideal, like a C-3PO head, as a helmet series set. It's not to say it won't happen, but it seems unlikely to me. Zishan says, what music do you use for the end of your video? I would like to listen to it. Well, unfortunately can't really listen to it because I don't really have it uploaded anywhere, and the full version of it is only like 40 seconds long. It's a custom song, I guess, that I had made just for my videos by a guy named Pearson who watches the channel and I had met. I paid him to make that little beat for the end of my videos, and that's it. It's not like a song you can just find. So I may have more songs in the future, I don't know, but it's nothing like crazy special. I'm sorry you can't just listen to it because there isn't really a full version of it. It's just the little end beat for my videos. Anyway, guys, if you enjoyed this video of Ask M&R Productions, make sure you hit that like button since you're not going to be able to see the dislike button soon anyway, apparently. If you guys have a question for next week's episode, leave it down in the comments section below. And don't forget, I'll be live streaming on YouTube this evening of building the new helmet series sets and the probe droid. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next week. Peace out.